Let's talk about investing as a graduate student. My name is Madison. I'm a third-year PhD student, and it is no secret that grad students are on a budget. I feel very fortunate to have put myself in a position where I can invest the way that I do and I can save and spend the way that I do. That being said, I am fully aware that not everybody can, and that getting to this point takes a lot of work. Now let's talk about it. Tuition, loans, stipends, expenses, etc. will greatly vary depending on what program you're in, what school you're at, what town you're in, etc. For most engineering programs, your PhD is typically funded, and if you're fortunate enough, they will fund your master's as well. I feel very grateful and fortunate that my undergrad was paid for as well. I got a full ride for my undergrad in aerospace engineering, and that truly is what kickstarted everything for me. Not having student loans, being able to put money directly towards investments, savings, my hobbies, my personal well-being, truly kickstarted me for financial success as a grad student and hopefully beyond. Now I'm going to be using numbers and talking through what stipends look like as an aerospace student at CU Boulder. Grad students for the PhD program at this university are somewhere between $2,700 and $3,300 a month. A lot more than some other grad programs, but you also have to include and acknowledge that living expenses in the town of Boulder are very, very high. And I understand that living on this amount of money is not done easily. I have been very fortunate to have diversified my income. Like I said, put away as much as I could while also maintaining a very quality of life, you might say. So the very first thing that I would recommend that you do is go ahead and set up a Roth IRA and an index fund. I have all of mine set up through Fidelity, and then the university also sets up a retirement account for me through TAA, which is great. Only in the summer months do I make enough money for the university to actually pull out a portion of my stipend and put it into my retirement account. I think this is great. Honestly, they pull out just a little bit when you're making more money during the summer, but during the school year, when that is money that most students would not be able to let go of freely and easily, they let you keep all of it. Of course, when I say keep all of it, they're giving you the freedom to choose what you want to do with that money. Again, in the summer months, they take out a portion of it depending on how much you make and invest it for you, or put it aside into a TIAA account for you. One thing to note here, if your employer is investing or setting aside money into an account for you, it is your responsibility to actually invest that money. I don't know how all institutions work, but at least for the University of Colorado, the money that gets taken out of our own paychecks and put into our retirement account doesn't actually get invested, which means nothing is happening to it until you go in and you decide what stocks you want to buy and invest in. I'm a big fan of the S&P 500. And highly recommend that you put your finances there, especially if you are someone young like myself. Maybe you don't have a lot of money to spend freely. These low risk, low reward index funds are going to be the way to go. Secondly, I have multiple bank accounts set up. So a portion of my stipend every single month gets divvied up into 2 different savings accounts that I have, as well as my checking account. Within that, I have automatic transfers that go from my checking account into my investment funds through Fidelity. I have $100 every month that without question goes into the S&P 500. I use FISROX for mine in my index fund, and then $100 of it also gets invested into FISROX via my Roth IRA in Fidelity. Now, the current limits for maxing out your Roth IRA every single year are $7,000. And while that doesn't seem like a big number, I wholeheartedly understand that maxing out $7,000 as a graduate student is very, very challenging. I feel like I do pretty well for myself, and there are some years and some months when hitting this number is big. $7,000 means that over almost 20% of my income pre-tax, might I add, from the university would be going in towards my Roth IRA, which is quite hefty. That is not a small number. That is a large amount to just be okay with putting an account and not seeing for decades and decades. So what I like to do is give myself a number every single month that I can hit. $100 is what I feel comfortable doing right now. That gets pulled out of my grad student stipend. When I get other income sources or have a little bonus checks, go on a work trip and get a per diem check, etc., I find ways to pick and find lump sums of larger amounts to invest into my Roth IRA. Now, when everything is said and done, if I don't get any other bonus checks, I can know that I put $200 a month into my investment accounts. $100 of it is going for long-term savings, so it could be a down payment on a house, etc. And then $100 of that is going into my retirement account. So both of these investment accounts through Fidelity are helping me see something further down the line. It's a set amount of money that I feel comfortable with not seeing right now. Again, one is going towards my retirement account, which I feel great about, and the other one is going towards a long-term savings goal, like buying a car or a house. I think if I had all of my money going into one or the other, I'd feel a little bit more uncomfortable about that. I really like being able to diversify and put little eggs in a ton of baskets as opposed to putting everything in one. Now, if I don't get any other lump sums, I can still go to sleep knowing that I'm putting $2,400 before interest away into my investment accounts every single year, which for a grad student, especially on a stipend like that, that is about 1 month's worth of salary post-tax, I'd say that's pretty darn good. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I know quite anything, honestly, about high risk, high reward investments. I'm a big fan of the long, slow burn. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you financial advice. This is solely for entertainment and hopefully some educational purpose, but I'm not giving you professional advice. That being said, any money that you are investing should be money that you're okay with losing. Please, please, please do not put money into your accounts that you are not okay with not seeing ever again. And that is a hard pill to swallow, right? But you could say that with just about anything in your life. I have horses, and this is a very niche example, I would say, but horses are an investment, right? I purchase a horse, I spend a few years training it, I train it, and I sell it for hopefully a lot more than what I paid for it. I will be honest, I don't do horses for the money. I do it because it is my favorite outlet. It gets me outside. It gives me something incredible to put my pride and my time and my love and my energy into. Now, the financial benefit of that is a huge perk. That being said, a horse is a four-legged animal that makes dumb decisions, quite frankly, and that horse, to be honest, could hurt itself. Things can happen. Shit happens. And I need to be okay with understanding that I might not get the ROI on my horse that I was hoping I would. In the same way that I need to be okay with putting money into these accounts that I'm okay with not seeing, to a point. This is why I invest small amounts often so that I'm hitting the market at very diverse times. And this is also why I pick and choose my investment accounts wisely. I have never been somebody to invest in single stocks. I don't think I ever will be. I think that just feels a little too risky for me at this point in my life. I am far more concerned with growing and developing long-term wealth, sustainable income, and financial freedom for myself than some get rich quick if I'm lucky sort of schematic or scheme. Now, one thing I think that is important to note and mention as a graduate student is that it is okay if you feel behind. Now, I feel so far behind in the grand scheme of 24-year-olds. I look at friends of mine that have their bachelor's and their master's in aerospace, are making six figures. They have 3-day weekends, they're traveling, they're all over the place, they have freedom, they're saving because their current situation allows them to do that. Now, all disappointment is rooted in expectation, and so much disappointment and expectation is rooted in comparison. And so I think it is important to acknowledge and point out that where you are right now compared to your peers does not indicate your success and your future success, right? I am not in grad school to be rich right now. I'm not in grad school to be rich, period, right? I am in graduate school to put myself in a position where I am waking up every single day so excited to do what I get to do. And hopefully as a byproduct of that, some financial security will come with it in the long run. Not many people go through their PhD making below minimum wage for 5-6 years. They graduate when they're 30 almost with $20,000 to their name. Not many people do that without understanding that there's a sacrifice involved. And being in your mid-20s, not having a lot of income coming in, but also understanding that you're going to reap hopefully great rewards, both financially, emotionally, academically, etc. If I go ahead and look at my Fidelity accounts, I have two different accounts, my retirement account, and which is my Roth IRA, and then my individual investment account. Within that individual investment account, 99.3% of my investments are in FISROX. Like I said, it's a total market index, pretty much follows the S&P 500, which is great. And then I have 0.7, so not even 1% invested in QQQ, which is something that I recently got into. I'm working on diversifying my investments, but comfortably. If you do not know what QQQ is an ETF, or an exchange traded fund that tracks and follows the top 100 non-financial companies, which most happens to be tech. Companies like Nvidia, Microsoft, Tesla, Apple, etc. I'm a big fan of. I am such a tech STEM girly at heart. I mean, I'm getting my PhD in aerospace, for Pete's sake, right? I am a huge fan of watching and following these markets. I have put a lot of faith and trust in them, especially in Nvidia and Microsoft right now. And so I have a little bit, like I said, it's 0.7% is invested in QQQ. Now, one single QQQ stock at the time that I'm filming this video is $598.20. And about 10 years ago, a single stock was $104.43. So this stock really has grown a lot. Efficiency 96%, tradability 100%, and fit 72% is what the analyst ratings for my Fidelity is giving it. Over the course of 3 years, Morningstar gives it a rating of 4 stars. 5 years, also 4 stars. 10-year rating, 5 out of 5 stars. So again, I think looking through these Fidelity stocks as you're selecting which ones you want to invest in, take the time to understand how they have performed, how different large investment firms and finance groups like Morningstar have rated them, given what you are looking to get out of them. Again, if I was looking to invest in QQQ and FISROX or the S&P 500 with the goal of taking this money out in 6 months, probably not the best stocks to choose. Again, I am investing this with the goal of hopefully I can use this money to purchase a house in 10, 20, 30 years as a down payment, and I am playing the long-term game. Now, if you're interested in more financial investment and productivity related videos, please let me know down below. I would really appreciate it if you all subscribed, hit that like button, and commented any other videos you'd like to see from me in the future. I hope you found some value in this video, and I will see you all next time. Bye.